All right, students, in 2.2, we're going to add a few more tools in our toolbox, reviewing from Algebra 1, how to solve equations. So in 2.1, you started to remember how to combine like terms, distribute a property, but also that you could add and subtract on both sides. And in 2.2, we kind of we're adding that we can multiply and divide and also having multi-step equations. So I'm just going to go through a few examples here. So for example, this was from the last section. You're going to want to get rid of that 4 so that m is all by itself. So what's the opposite of adding 4? Well, subtracting 4. So we're going to put a negative 4 on both sides. M equals negative 16. See how easy that is? You could probably tune me out at this point, right? You think, okay, maybe. All right, so on this one here, you might think the answer is negative 11 if you just glance at it, but it's not. And that's why we show work here. We show work so we don't make a goofy mistake like that. And we get P equals 1, actually. P equals 1 when we show our work, 6 and negative 5. We'll get some of these things out of the way. All right, next problem. We want to get rid of the 8. How's it attached to the x? Is it division, multiplication, addition, or subtraction? How is it attached? I don't see anything there. Well, if you don't see anything, then it's multiplication. So how do you undo multiplication? You divide by 8. Divide by 8. So x equals, now what is that? 104, 104 divided by 8. Apparently I just haven't had enough coffee this morning to be able to do this in my head. 13. X equals 13, and it would be negative because a negative divided by positive is a negative. Okay, so here we have a dreaded fraction, so don't freak out because you see a fraction. All you have to do is ask yourself, how do I get rid of the 18? How is it attached to the b? It is attached through division. How do you undo division? Multiplication. Now watch how I do this. On the right side, I'm going to put the 18 up on the top, and I'm even going to write over 1 just to drive home that we got an 18 on the top and the bottom and that they cancel, so that leaves b all by itself. Now whatever you do to one side, you have to multiply and do to the other side, so we have to multiply by 18 on the other side. So 6 times 18 equals 108. 108. So negative 108 is the answer because a negative times a positive. Pretty easy, right? Yeah. Don't freak out when you see a fraction. So again, let me repeat that. Don't freak out when you see a fraction. So in our session the other day, I reviewed how to get rid of fractions. And just follow me on this, all right? We want to get rid of the 5. We want to get rid of the 2. So what's it going to take to do that? I'm going to need a 5 on the top, and I'm going to need a 2 on the bottom, because then we can just slash and burn all this other stuff here. The 5s and the 2s are gone, leaving x by itself. So what I just did, listen, I multiplied by the reciprocal. I multiplied by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply the right side by the same thing because I have to. That's one of the rules, right? And now you multiply fractions. It's the simplest thing, straight across. So 5 times 1, 2 times 10, and then we have a negative because a negative times a positive is a negative. And now both of those numbers are divisible by 5, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce this to negative 1/4. Negative 1/4. Now the trick was multiply by the reciprocal and then multiply that right side straight across. To get rid of the 8, what do we do? By the way, I guess I should say, if this were a multiple choice problem, I would have v equals 4 there, and v equals 6, and v equals 16. Maybe even v equals 10. Why not? All right, so which is the answer? Well, let's show work, right? Let's show work and see what the answer is, right? Let's not just do it in our head and say, oh, this is division. 8 divided by 2 is 4. No, it's not. It's not. The answer is not 4 here. Because if we multiply by 8 on both sides, we see the 8's cancel, and we get v equals 16. See, we show work so that hopefully the answer becomes crazy obvious to us, and we know we did it right because we laid out all our work very carefully. All right, this has a couple things we need to get rid of. We need to get rid of the 2 and the 4 to get a all by itself. I'm not worried about moving the a to the left side. All I want to do is get rid of the 2 and the 4. So when you're solving equations, you always look to see, can I add or subtract something out of there first? And in fact, if we put a -2 on both sides, we get a over 4 equals 4, or 4 equals a over 4. Now, is the answer 1? No, it's not, right? Because when we multiply to get rid of that division, we see that we get a equals 16, actually. A equals 16. All right. Fun stuff, fun stuff. All right, folks. You ready? Pretty easy equation here. We want to get x by itself. That's our goal. So you're here as the mathematician to make everything disappear except the x. So how do we get rid of this -7? Because we don't subtract 9 or divide by 9 first. You can't subtract that 9 off there anyway. You're going to add 7 on both sides. 9x equals, wait, what? What's -7 plus 7? Don't say impossible. It's the number 0. And zeros are numbers too, so I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write the number 0. All right, we don't discriminate against zeros. Zeros are numbers too, people. Now, let's get rid of the 9. Let's divide by 9. Wait, can we do that on the right side? Sure. If you don't have anything and we divide it among ourselves, what does everyone get? 0. So 0 divided by 9 is 0. The answer here was x equals 0, and that's a number 2. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. I see, here's the equal sign, and I see some like terms. So I think we should just simplify those first, right? And write 8p on the right side. Now, we have variables on both sides, so I would strongly recommend that you deal with those first. So you got to get rid of this one or get rid of this one. It doesn't matter, but I would probably, as I mentioned in class, I would trying to stay positive, so I would minus p on both sides and get -1 equals 7p minus 8. And now hopefully you're home free. You want to get rid of the -8 but with a positive 8. Showing work. I'm going to, let's see, 7 equals 7p. So when you divide by 7 on both sides, what do you get? P equals 1. See how easy that is? That's easy, folks. Yeah, you got this. All right, we're almost there. We're doing we've really leveled up quite a bit here. This is called the distributive property is what we need to do. We need to launch our little missiles here with that -2. And we get -2 plus 14n because a negative times a negative. Now I see n's on both sides, 14 and 15. That does not make 19. Got it? Does not make 19. You hear the anger in my voice? You do not make 19 out of this. You want to get rid of the n's from one of the sides. So I'm going to minus 5n on both sides. I get 34 equals -2. See, I like to stay positive, so this is what I mean by this, a positive 9n. So I always subtract the smaller one. I'm now going to add 2 on both sides. 36 equals 9n. Divide by 9. 36 divided by 9 is 4. So n equals 4 is the answer here. Just going through lots of examples to remind you how this equation solving works. All right, this is the very last question on solving equations. And there's all kinds of distributive property here. I would really encourage you to pause the video and give this a try and see if you can do it. And then check your answer against mine. So I'm going to launch my missiles here. I get -12x minus 9. There's a danger zone, I like to call it. And then on the second one, I'm going to take the positive 4 and I'm going to multiply it in. 24x plus 4 equals 43. All right, now what do? We don't add 12x. Please don't add 12x. Why not? Because look at this. Here's the equal sign. The x's are all on the left side, so we combine like terms. We combine like terms. So I'm going to combine this with this, and I get 12x. And then I'm also going to combine the negative 9 and the 4, and I get minus 5 equals 43. I'm now going to add 5 on both sides, and I get 48 equals 12x. Divide by 12 because the 12 is attached by multiplication. X equals 4. All right, so hopefully all of this is sort of flowing back into your head. Hopefully you checked your work against mine also. You might go back and just try some of these on your own and compare these with the video solutions. All right, good luck. All right, solving equations. You got this.